Okay, everybody, thank you very much. It's great to see so much energy in the room already. I'd now like to introduce Guy Scriven, who is our US technology editor, who is going to be in charge of this morning's sessions. Over to you, Guy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ed. So I'm Guy. I'm the US technology editor at The Economist, and I will be chairing this morning's events. I'm going to speak as briefly as possible, partly because it makes the event much more interesting, and also because I've got a bit of a cold coming on, so sorry about that. But I will say before we get started, just in the past few years, it's an understatement to say that the world of work has been totally upended by COVID. I think the most telling sign of this is that it's impossible to have a coffee with a friend or a Zoom call or a business meeting without everybody asking each other about their kind of working conditions. You know, how often do you go into work? Do you work remotely? Are you working hybridly? What are your colleagues doing? It's almost like asking about kind of the weather or someone's commute now. It's become so normal. And that's for two really quite obvious reasons. One is that there's just a huge amount of uncertainty about what's going to happen in the world of work over the next few years. And the other is that it's just incredibly interesting. There's a set of challenges now that managers and teams are facing that no one's really ever faced before. And everyone's kind of working their way through them. And that's why it's such an interesting time to be discussing the world of work today. It's not just the pandemic which is changing the world of work. Diversity and equality are shooting up the kind of corporate agenda, and we have a host of new technologies on the horizon that, if you believe the boosters, things like AI and the metaverse are about to change the world of work once again. And so these topics and many, many more is what we'll be discussing today. We have a fantastic range of speakers from a whole different host of industries to talk to you today, and they'll be sharing their insights and wisdom through a series of panels, one-on-one interviews, and case studies. The running order for the day is that I think up until about 11 o'clock, all the action is in here, so you don't need to leave your seats except to get coffee. And then there's a lunch and a networking session, and then afterwards the day turns on to kind of two parallel tracks. One is about collaboration and agility at work, and that will remain in here. And the other is about well-being and equity at work, and that is in the Sierra room, which is, I don't know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere close by. And so that's the plan. And then afterwards, so everything hopefully should wrap up at 5:10. And then I've been promised after which there'll be alcohol served. And so do stick around for that. And that's thankfully sponsored by LHH. So thank you very much. So just to mention the other sponsors that we're very grateful for helping us with, none of this would be possible without them. So we have Google Workspace, CompuCom, LHH, Fountain, Zendesk, Lenovo, Qualcomm, Lucid, Upwork. Thank you all very much. We appreciate your support. Hopefully, if the speakers have time, we're going to have some Q&A sessions. And to get to we're not doing a kind of hand-raising thing today. We're going to, you send your questions through an app called Slido. Here are instructions about how to get the app. And you use the hashtag InnovationUS. And that should mean that, you are able to send your questions to an iPad over here, which I can then ask to the speakers once I've decided if they're interesting enough. Okay, wonderful. And I think that's everything, all the housekeeping. Oh yes, if you once we finished all this, if you're in need of even more, just to mention, the next edition of this event will be held in March in London, and so we hope to see you there too.